Hi, I'm Mayor Chris Friel. This is our Brantford, and we're back after our summer holiday, and it's September. So we're going to talk about a couple very important things. First of all, we're going to talk about nutrition, which I think you realize that I'm really big on food. Well, proper food, because there's a nutritionist here. And the other thing we're going to talk about is the bike park at Waterworks Park, and some of the discussion around what's going on there, and give you some of the first-hand information, which I think everybody will appreciate. But first, Nicole Kernahan is with me, and Nicole is a nutritionist consultant.
It's a tongue twister. Yes, it's registered nutritional consulting practitioner.
Registered?
Yes, four words. Registered nutritional consulting practitioner.
Okay.
We often refer to it as RNCP for short, or just nutritionist. So that's how you refer to me, and that's often what we say because it's a lot easier. But it's technically a designation on teaching people about nutrition and personalizing it to their overall holistic health needs. So not just necessarily the food, but supplements or other aspects of your health that might be of an issue. And then I also am the thinking into results consultant, which we've briefly talked about. That's the mindset and shifting our results through understanding how our thoughts control our results.
Because this came out of, because we've had a couple segments with Katie McDonald, who is helping me train and get the exercise, which has been going very well. But Katie just kept coming back to me saying, you got to deal with the nutrition. You've got to deal with the nutrition. And so we ended up meeting.
She reached out to me, and because I've worked with her a bit before, and she said, "Yep, you got to come meet with the mayor. He needs some nutrition support." And I know that you've been on the path with fitness for a while, like you said. So it's just kind of a good next evolution. And of course, when you start to feel better with exercise and start to get into a routine and a habit, you start to feel even better when you add the nutritional side to it, of course. So.
I from my perspective, I don't cook. It's not anything. I'm just not interested in it. Which in this day and age is, really a bad thing. Apparently, and if you don't cook, then you're a bad person.
Of course not. Do you have to
I know. No, that's what my wife tells me.
But it's very common nowadays that, to be honest, we're so fast-paced that cooking is definitely kind of been on the sidelines for a lot of families.
And in my life, I eat what's put in front of me because I'm at breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and grabbing something on the run, and ridiculous stuff. And so that was I didn't think about it. Like, it came out of my thinking, and I stopped really enjoying food. It was just something that I knew I had to do. And I was finding I was going home late at night afterwards, and I was eating because I might not have eaten for a few hours before, and that's what everybody says is one of the worst things that you can do.
Not ideal to eat right before bed because your body is now going to be at rest, and not oftentimes it can affect our sleep because it's you trying to use energy to break down the foods as well. So
I know it's so basic. A lot of it is, as soon as you say it, it's like, well, of course, that makes sense. But I'm really now learning it. I'm really surprised how little we're actually taught about nutrition. I mean, when we were kids, we had to have 5 for the food groups. 5 food groups? How many food groups are there? 4?
Depends on how you define them.
I got lost there. Okay, so the food groups. I haven't been in grade school for 30 or some odd years, 40 some odd years. So you have the food group, but we don't really teach a lot. And I had some people from Grand River Health and a couple a nutritionist from BGH had come in. We were talking about the pulses and some other food things, but where did we get so far off the rails where we don't even think about what we're putting into our bodies anymore?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that because the knowledge is very limited, and I learned because I know I've mentioned I have MS, and so that's when I started studying it 13 years ago. And even then, I thought that I knew a basic nutritional information. And as soon as you start to study it, there is an immense amount of information out there, and so many different opinions and different concepts. So it's hard for people to fully kind of grasp the basics because the basics there isn't really basics. It's almost there are some key aspects, but it's really unbelievable how much information is out there about nutrition. And as you know, probably in our, like nowadays in our society, we're so fast paced. I think there was a statistic, like in Europe, they spend like 2 or 3 hours cooking and eating and enjoying meals and family time and all that is like an experience. Whereas here, it's just, you know, like you said, like on the go, in a rush, we don't even think about it. Whatever's fastest, whatever is convenient, and we kind of have lost that awareness about the importance of food, about the types of food and why we're choosing the food, and really what's happening physiologically in our body when we put that food in our mouth. Because it's either nourishing us or it's disintegrating us. So it's really, really important, and we just, it's not really commonly taught or talked about unless we kind of go out on our own and try to seek that information. And
but you don't think about it. And I think too, like some of the things that been considering with this is you go into the stores and you start looking at, okay, well, there's a heart healthy label on here, and this is a low sodium, and this is good. So this is healthy for me. I can take it because it's got a picture of a heart on the outside of it. So obviously it's healthy for me. And then when you start actually looking at what's in there, you're going, I can't pronounce the first 4 lines of what's in here, and there's a lot of MSG or a lot of whatever else. So, I mean, I think society sort of set itself up that we're fooling ourselves into believing that we're eating properly.
Yeah, it is tricky, and to be honest, you will get a lot of different opinions from the natural health world. When they have those designations, it is better than without.
Absolutely.
So there has been some work done to define that there is some, improved health option, but it absolutely does not necessarily mean that there isn't anything that's not necessarily healthy, or that it's kind of, you can just consume it at will. But yeah, so there are some key. To be honest, what I usually recommend, the easiest thing, is just to eat real food. Anything that is in its natural form, single ingredient, and it's hard to do, and it's like in that fast-paced world. But fruits and vegetables, those are whole foods, straight from the earth. You know exactly, that's what they looked like when they came out of the ground.
Unless they've been genetically modified.
Yes, that's a whole other world.
Let's not bring that one up.
That's a whole other world. Yes.
Actually, that's one of those ones where I get really conspiratorial.
Yes. Preferably grow them in your own garden.
That's okay.
Organic. There's a lot of different. But whole foods, single ingredient foods. Ideally, less than 5 ingredients. To be honest, and ideally, you know what those ingredients are. There are exceptions.
Yeah.
Like if it's 6 different kinds of nuts and then a few fruits, like that's going to be more than 5, but you'll know what the ingredients are. But that's kind of a good rule of thumb, is to just limited number of ingredients and eat real whole foods. So even if it's animal products, if you're not vegan, like they're a single ingredient, like primarily like a single whole food with grains, eating rice or sweet potato or quinoa, those are single whole food grains instead of being processed with fillers or additives or artificial sweeteners or colors or things that your body doesn't even know what to do with, to be honest. And our body often protects ourselves in our fat cells. Any of those things that we don't know what to do with, your body will store it as fat because it's trying to protect your essential organs. So sometimes the lower fat or low sugar things may or may not, depending on what type of sweetener is in there, may actually not be better for you. But
see, this is it gets more confusing after time, but it isn't really, because what you said was single foods.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. Something
as
now
much as possible.
So we sat down under the watchful eye of Katie, you made me fill out a form.
Yes.
Which everybody knows I don't do. So my staff all know
yes,
that.
Katie and I were talking back and forth for a while, and we got the full 5-page form complete, all your health information.
I'll sit there and answer the questions for you. That's one of my things. But so we went through and we talked about it, but that did make me think. And the way you asked a couple questions made me again start. Oh, okay, hold on. I got to think this through a little bit. I haven't been putting much attention into it, so now I actually have to sit down. And and a couple of the things I had to sit down with my wife and go, what do you think? Right? Is this? Am I on the right track for how I eat? And she was very honest about it. But so then we started out. The first blush of things are in front of us right now.
Yes. Yeah. Typically, I like to recommend about 3 changes or so, rather than going to someone and saying, let's overhaul your entire diet and change your entire meal plan and all your supplements. That's typically not very realistic for people. So I usually try to start with a few things, and we kind of get alignment on what are these few things that you're going to start to implement. And one of them was lemon water. So that's one that I know you thought very highly of.
Never thought about it. It didn't seem like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But I started doing a quarter of a lemon squeezed into a glass of water in the morning, first thing before coffee or anything else. And I said I noticed an almost immediate difference in the way that I feel in the morning doing this.
Yeah.
I feel lighter. I feel just a bit better able to physically be able to handle things and mentally handle things.
Yeah, no, I recommend lemon water to like almost everyone first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Absolutely, the lemon itself is very cleansing. It's actually one of our best natural liver detoxifiers, to be honest, but it also just kind of cleanses the whole body a little bit. It also alkalizes everything in the body, so it reduces the acidic impact of foods, the environment, of stress. So it kind of helps to alkalize the body. It also helps to kickstart the metabolism. So another simple thing. And it tastes good and refreshing.
We got about 2 minutes, so we're going to have to go quickly on this one because so this is the protein shake or a shake. It's a protein shake?
It's a protein shake, yes. So this
is
actually
vanilla.
This is vanilla.
Well, I'm not supposed to show the name of the company. Oh, you want me to put it in? That's right, put it in a glass. So I started doing these too, which I've always associated with bodybuilders and those guys. But when I was working out, so I started doing these before I work out, and I was doing them within 45 minutes after doing it, and I find that it gives me everything I need. Like I'm really comfortable with having it in the morning, or even as a meal substitute. I've done that a couple times. So instead of eating the grease that's in front of me, I'll go, I'm going to do this instead. Yeah,
this one's mixed with coconut milk, so it'll be a little thicker than the one that you've had before. But, and it might taste different, and I'll tell you why in a second. But protein.
I don't think you're going to have enough time. You're going to have to hurry up.
Protein is so critical for our bodies. It's the most important thing. Our muscles need it. We need to replace those amino acids. We don't make them. We have to consume them. It allows our bodies to maintain muscle so that it can burn fat. It helps with our brain function. It basically is just a critical component, and it helps with our metabolism as well.
All right, we've got about 1 minute left. So this is C-Rich Omega-3. Oh, that's the brand name. I'm not supposed to do that either.
Oh, that's all right.
Yes,
that's one of my
favorites. This is basically it's fish oil is what they used to call it.
It's liquid fish oil.
This is what your grandmother used to give you with cod liver oil.
Except it tastes better. It's not fermented.
All right, I'm going to do this as our last thing. So,
oops.
Oh, that was really bad. I hope you're not filming this.
Full teaspoon of fish oil.
Tastes like grapefruit.
Yes, I know. Real good quality fish oil should not taste fishy. Critical, you mentioned before, it helps you feel more mental focus.
Oh, it does.
It honestly,
and again, it's right away.
The brain.
You feel it right away. So our time is up. Sorry, we just got into. I had a feeling we should have done 2 segments with you.
We'll come back.
We'll get you to come back when Katie's back again, and we'll have more of a conversation about it. But
absolutely,
I'll tell you, I've done it. I've worked at this for a couple months now, and I have noticed an absolute difference in the way that I feel, the way that I'm functioning, and just generally better attitude. Yeah. So thank you, Nicole. Thanks for coming in.
I'm so glad to see.
And we'll be right back with our next segment on Our Brantford.